Hello, Thumpers and Super Friends. Welcome back to episode 2 of Hyper Heroes. You guys did it. You guys apparently like the show. Who would have thought superheroes in 2017?
Due to overwhelming demand, that comment section in our last video,
Y'all blew that shit up.
it almost made me cry.
Yeah.
Like, it was so positive,
really cool.
so great, and it's all because of you guys. That's why we're back. We're gonna consider doing this more and more often.
Absolutely.
Try to make it a weekly thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great, and
in
I
case
really want to
people
appreciate it.
are just tuning in right now, Adam, what is Hyper Heroes? What's this show?
Hyper Heroes is a new show here on Hyper RPG where we talk about the world of superheroes. We celebrate superheroes in film, television, video games, and in soju glasses. We're having a good time tonight.
Yeah.
We just wrapped up our final episode of Cineverse,
Yep.
which all of you who watch on YouTube, thank you so much for the love. Thank you, everybody who tuned in live. We really appreciate your support. We had a really good time doing that show. And we hope to see more things come out of that in the future.
Yeah.
And we're still going to be doing trailer reactions, movie reviews, all that kind of stuff that is also not superhero related.
Yeah.
But, you know, you guys have been talking to us for a long time, asking for a superhero show, so this is sort of the answer. And if you guys continue to support this show, liking it, leaving a comment, sharing it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, then we will definitely put in the effort to make it a regular thing here
Yup.
on Hyper RPG. And
Yup.
this is something that we've talked about doing ever since we originally even discussed coming here. So
right.
the fact that you guys are making this happen means a lot to us. Make sure you guys are sticking around, checking out our Patreon. We're going to be revamping that bad boy, and there's going to be a lot of really cool shit coming, things that we are going to be doing for you guys. So make sure you guys check it out. There's a link in the description below, patreon.com/hyperrpg. But let's get into some superhero news.
Snap.
And we're using Hyper Heroes liberally so that we can talk
Yes.
about Star Wars. Don't worry.
Exactly.
Basically whatever we want.
We don't
but
want to
yes.
put ourselves in a little box.
Heroes. What
Heroes.
heroes?
Every
Exactly.
story has a hero.
Everyone
Yes.
has a hero. Shit,
Yeah.
I'm the hero of my own story.
Yep, we're all heroes of our own
Things.
story.
So oddly enough, or funny enough, this usually always happens when we shoot these superhero type of episodes and shows. The first image of Zazie Beetz as Domino came out the
Oh,
day
that's
after
right,
we
the day
recorded
after,
this.
yeah.
And everybody in the comments
Yeah.
was like, "Are you going to talk about this?" And I was like, "Don't worry. If we get to do a second episode, we'll definitely talk about it."
Yeah.
But not only that, we also got our first look at Josh Brolin as Cable,
Yeah.
which
let
let me tell you, Josh Brolin is swole as
Yes.
fuck.
Yeah.
Huge. He's so
Huge. What did you guys think about the? Let's start with Domino, since that was the first one that was released.
So huge. So huge.
Soju.
Soju?
Oh,
So Domino, I thought it was a great choice.
yeah.
Obviously, there was a bit of controversy because
Jesus.
we
of course.
have to address it because that's the first thing that people talk about
Yeah.
when this comes up. Originally, Domino, white skin, black eye patch,
And by white, you mean like
paper
white.
paper white.
Yes.
Like white, not
Like a domino,
not
literally.
like a white person.
Right.
Yeah.
Paper white skin. And she has a black patch over her eye. Therefore, Domino, her power is luck. She has the power of being lucky all the time.
Yeah, like manipulating probability fields, I think.
Right, exactly.
Plus, she's good with guns and shit. She's
Yeah,
been
well,
on like
yeah.
Cable's X-Force and
Lucky
stuff.
shots, all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's her. And now the character is an African American character with, how do you say vertigo?
Vitiligo.
Vitiligo?
I think it's vitiligo.
It's a condition in which people have splotchiness. Generally, dark skinned people have
lightning
white
in the skin.
or
Yeah.
lightning
like lose the
patches in
pigment.
their skin. Yeah, there's a very famous model that has that. She has it symmetrically all over her face, which is really cool. But Domino has the patch over her eye. And honestly, I think it's a really fucking awesome idea.
Yeah.
Because it's Deadpool giving a big fuck you to people who are just like
Haters?
yeah, to people who are just like, oh no, this is a problem, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This like, nah, dude. Deadpool's gonna give it to you, and you're gonna take it, and you're gonna love it.
Let me tell you something. This girl's name is Zazie Beetz.
Done.
That's such a dope.
Done.
Done.
Fuck off.
Such a dope name.
Like, I almost wish they would just rename the character Zazie Beetz at that
Yeah,
point.
like Domino
Like,
isn't as cool as Zazie Beetz.
Zazie
Yeah,
Beetz.
I think this is the first time that's ever happened where the
I know.
person's actual name is
Right?
better than their
It's true.
No,
superhero
I mean, I
name.
think she looks great. I think the picture is hilarious. It's
Yeah.
her basically on Deadpool's basically uniform. He looks like the was it a bear rug?
Yeah.
Or lion
Well,
rug,
and
whatever.
and you know
it's
what?
an homage to the first
Exactly,
Deadpool.
to the
film.
first-
So,
exactly.
Yeah, the first film, and it took me a second because of that homage that I was like, oh, she's on a bearskin rug. This is great. Domino,
Right.
it's great. Took me a second. I'm like, oh, that's Deadpool. That's
Yeah,
really funny.
it's
Like
Deadpool's
she
uniform.
killed
Yeah.
Deadpool,
Yeah,
or that's
yeah,
a dead Deadpool. It's a stuffed or flattened out
Yeah.
Deadpool,
Yeah.
or uniform or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought it was a great image reveal
Yeah.
that is an homage to the first one, like you said, Agassin, which in and of itself is an homage to a Burt Reynolds image.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
the
this
old school
great
Burt Reynolds
cyclical,
image.
you know,
Mhm.
Deadpool
Yeah.
continuing strong with the sort of like social media marketing machine.
Yeah.
So, and then they just went right into Cable after that. The same thing. The pictures released from Cable, they look great. And I don't know if it's the same team as the marketing team that's always worked on X-Men movies. Probably not. It's probably been changing over the past 17 years. But it's like you can recall the images that were released from like X-Men First Class, where people were like, these costumes don't look great. This leaked out. This doesn't look cool. Everything that's come from that's been released from the first Deadpool movie now to Deadpool 2, it's solid. And Josh Brolin as Cable, man, it like wowed a lot of people.
So good.
Wowed
it
a lot
really
of people.
did. It took me by surprise for a little bit because I'm a big fan of Cable, specifically from, I know this isn't as comic book geeky, but from Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Nice.
I love I love that character.
We all have our thing. We all have our entry points.
Well, that was fair. Well, I knew about Cable before.
Sure.
But I never really dove into the character. Then when I saw him in Marvel vs. Capcom 2, I was like, oh, this guy's cool. I want to look into him more. It took me by surprise because he's more 21st or like 21st now current with his weapons and technology.
I see what you're saying.
Because
as opposed to 90s or future.
Exactly, because technically he's a future character. He's half cyborg, or he's half like, is it cyborg? It's like some weird.
I think so, because he has a robotic.
It's a robotic arm, and it goes like all the way up into his like.
But it's like a virus. Though,
yeah, he has the legacy virus.
The legacy
as an infant,
right?
The child of Scott Summers and Jean Grey, or like an evil clone of Jean Grey, I think. Nathan Summers, his little baby, because of this, infected with this virus.
Right.
They send the baby to the future. They go into the future where there's a cure there. Leave the baby there. Is raised by Scott and Jean.
And then the next day he comes back and he's an old guy, and you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
But he has all the future technology, and that's what I was trying to get to. The photo we see now, he has like grenades or like little things on his
pouches.
He looks tactical, and it's just great, which shows that he is he has a mastery of weapons. But it's not the futuristic Cable that I imagined we were gonna get. But that being said, he still looks dope as fuck.
He's jacked.
He looks awesome.
Yeah, he took a picture with a little kid dressed up as Deadpool, and he's doing this, and it's just like mountain. It's a fucking mountain.
It really is.
He's got a huge melon.
Like our buddy Alex Puccinelli's T-shirt.
Yeah,
it is that. From
the Terminator.
Predator.
Predator. Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
I think it was done very strategically, because just today I was scrolling through Twitter and there were some set photos released from the movie, and it has Domino, and there's already been set photos of her since they revealed her picture, and now they were showing the stuntman for Cable doing stunts. So
they put those out first before somebody leaked photos. It was like not ideal.
And it's like you don't have the full thing, and so I think it's obviously very strategic, like it always is. If it's the same marketing team as Deadpool. And I think Ryan Reynolds also has a big hand in it because he's been releasing a lot of this stuff. I think it's really smart, and I think they both look great. And I cannot wait to see sort of the banter between these two characters, between Cable and Deadpool, and Deadpool and Domino, and to see sort of what new dynamic they bring.
How much of Cable's backstory are they going to go into it? Like for real, is he really going to be the child of Scott Summers Cyclops?
Which they can do
what are they
because they're all under Fox.
I mean, technically, Deadpool called out all of the X-Men in the first one. He's like, man, they have this whole school. It's like they ran out of money in the budget or something like that.
And if Deadpool exists in the present, this is so geeky and nobody gives a shit. It doesn't matter. If Deadpool exists in the present day that is before Logan takes place, but is still after the end of X-Men Days of Future Past, where like Scott Summers and Jean Grey are alive again, they could immediately have an infant right then. Oh, the legacy virus. They could do that. Or they could just avoid it altogether.
There's big implications if they do decide to go with the legacy virus. But something tells me they're not really going to get into it that much.
Yeah.
No. I think now that we have these younger X-Men cast, I think they're just going to focus on these younger characters sort of developing. Maybe in the future they'll figure out a way to tie Josh Brolin's character and his lineage
James
and backstory.
Marsden Cyclops?
Or Ty Sheridan and Sophie Turner.
Oh.
I think there's possibilities. Because Deadpool does call it out. He's like... He's like, Stewart or McAvoy? I'm so confused.
Yeah, exactly. He calls a bunch of people out.
Yeah.
One thing so we were hanging out with the outlaw John Roca earlier today.
I love how you'll always say the outlaw.
You have to.
It's such
a cool nickname. You can't not say it. And we were watching the trailer for Deadpool, and he was like, I'm so concerned for Deadpool 2.
Sure.
So concerned. And I never really thought about it until he brought it up. I'm like, are they going to be able to capture that lightning in a bottle? So far from these set pictures
Different
and all
director.
This stuff, different director.
Thankfully, same Ryan Reynolds.
Right.
You know,
right.
like a lot of elements from
Rhett
the
Reeves,
first
Paul Wernick writing again.
from the
Right.
first film are there, but it was that first movie
Yeah.
definitely had lightning in a bottle. Man. It was-
I'm hoping it's not a
Yeah.
lightning in a bottle situation.
yeah.
I will say after seeing Atomic Blonde, because I think we've all seen John Wick 1,
Mhm.
which
Yeah.
was directed by Chad Stahelski and David Leitch. John Wick 2 was just Chad Stahelski. David Leitch went off into Atomic Blonde. I don't think Atomic Blonde is as strong as John Wick 2 in certain areas, but it's also not the same type of movie.
Right.
Atomic Blonde is very action-packed when it is action-packed, but is also very much a story about character and situation.
And who's directing Deadpool 2?
David Leitch, who directed Atomic Blonde.
Atomic Blonde.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I have a strong feeling that this movie could recapture a lot of that, but I think they may do some things that may be disappointing people a little bit in terms of the character work and sort of the world building.
Yeah,
Right,
I hope
right,
it's
right.
not the same movie.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want to Hangover 2.
Just the fact that, yeah, exactly. Just the fact that you're bringing
Right.
Cable into it, it's like that's a totally different
Yes.
dynamic.
It
That's
is a
not
whole
the same
different dynamic.
as Deadpool and Colossus in the
Yeah.
first
Right,
movie. It's
right.
not the same as Deadpool and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Like
Yeah.
this could be totally different. So
And those characters
it
will
could
still
be.
be there,
Okay.
but we have to
Excited.
go to the next level of what that evolution is.
Right. So what did it call for? Or what did the directors feel? We
Yeah.
don't
Right.
know, but I'm excited to find out, and I hope they deliver on the second.
Totally.
Second
And
go
with
around.
Ryan Reynolds, Paul Wernick, and Rhett Reeves, I think
Yeah.
we're in good hands.
I think
we're in
we'll
good
be
hands.
okay.
I'll
Guys.
toast to that, gentlemen.
Shit.
Hector,
You haven't even drank anything yet.
Oh, I
Toast, baby.
drank a lot.
There you go. Cheers. Ding, ding, ding.
Thank you.
I drank my beer too fast.
I know, me
otherwise-
Next
too.
topic.
Otherwise, I'd be drinking with you.
Switching to the DC Extended Universe, we're going to be talking about Shazam. Now, at Comic-Con about 2 weeks ago, it was revealed on the slate that Shazam will be the next movie following Aquaman.
Mhm.
The movie will be coming out sometime in 2019. Photography is expected to start sometime in January or February. It's being directed by David F. Sandberg, who did Lights Out. He did the new Annabelle creation, which is getting actually really good praise right now.
Cool.
I was very, very surprised.
I need to go watch that.
I saw the first Annabelle creation, didn't love it. I thought there were
First
moments,
Annabelle movie?
or the first Annabelle
Yeah, the
movie,
first
yes.
Annabelle. I didn't like that one.
I agree. I don't think it was great. There was only one scene that I thought really stood out. It was the part where the family gets murdered in the beginning. But Annabelle creation started out really strong on Rotten Tomatoes, had like a 8.5, a 9 out of 10 score, and it's been going down a little bit, but it's still pretty solid. So
Okay.
I'm curious to see what he does. He's a director from Sweden who has really sort of been mostly involved with horror, but he was talking to I think it was Movie Phone, and they were asking him sort of about the tone of Shazam. What's the tone gonna be? And one of the things they says that this will be very different from what I've done in the feature space because it's not a horror movie and it's a much lighter tone, but it's something that I look forward to trying out, even though I plan to return to horror in some fashion. My background back in Sweden, before I started doing horror shorts, I was doing animated comedy shorts. It's not totally alien to me to have more of a comedy
good.
approach. I look forward to taking that in on a new feature.
Here's what
Beautiful.
makes me most
That is
excited about
beautiful.
this. Because to me, I love Captain Marvel, Shazam. I
Mhm.
love Billy Batson, and I love the idea of Shazam. And I
Right.
think that what David F. Sandberg says about him not being a fan when he was growing up, but then how he sums up who the character is now, made me really, really hopeful. So check this out. First of all, he says, and this is a little bit disappointing, but also understandable. He says, it wasn't a character I grew up with. It was published in Sweden, where I'm from, in the 70s, so it's a little before my time. So I only knew him from the Justice League, he admitted. It's not until now that I'm getting into comics and reading a lot more of the old ones, the Jeff John ones, The Power of Shazam, and looking at a bunch of animation. So I'm really getting to know the character. Right there, I'm like, it kind of bums me out that still in this day and age we can't find directors, male or female, whatever background, in Hollywood that are excited about superheroes in general, because I
Right.
feel like at this point, there's so many nerdy guys working Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
People our
There's
age
gotta
are
be-
starting to come up.
Yeah, there's got to be
Right.
one guy out there who's like, I really want to make Shazam.
sure, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there is, and it's
Yeah.
probably a bummer they didn't get the job, but maybe they're not ready for it, not qualified.
It's
That's
very
politics.
possible.
It's
Yeah, yeah,
Hollywood.
yeah.
All these different reasons.
Mhm.
But then here's what David F. Sandberg, and I got no problem. I'm not trying to be a gatekeeper.
Right.
I got no problem with people learning about a character.
Totally.
I love it when people learn about shit. So then here's what he says. The big attraction for me with that character is the fact that every kid dreams of being Superman, right? I mean, I certainly did. And Billy Batson is a kid that gets that chance. Boom, right there. That's Shazam.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
distilled to its essence, that's Shazam. Then he says he gets to become the superhero, so it'll be big with superpowers in a way. In terms of what people can expect, I think this will be one of the more fun or lighthearted movies so far in the DC universe. It certainly will be a departure. Also, boom.
That's
who-
Shazam.
That's what it is.
Yes.
That's,
That's
the big
what it is.
cheese. That's
Yeah.
who this character is.
Yeah.
So just the fact that here's what makes me excited about it. I know there's a lot of people who work on these types of movies that have to have the movie pitched to them, and they think about it, and they're like, well, you know what, I wanted to make a movie. I wanted to make a coming of age movie anyway, so maybe I'll direct this Power Rangers reboot or whatever. Like they kind of find a way to whatever they wanted to do or whatever they're interested in, and attach the thing, absorb it. That's very common. And I also think that a lot of the times with these types of projects, you can look at a movie and you can go, this director, this writer, these people were not pitched this character or characters correctly.
Correct.
You look at Fantastic Four 2015 and you go, somebody wasn't pitched the Fantastic Four.
Right.
Like the pitch didn't work. Right. And then you look at something like Doctor Strange, and I don't know how Scott Derrickson, how much into Doctor Strange he was coming up, but like Marvel did a job of pitching that to him. This another horror film director background, and he's like, got it. Peyton Reed, Ant-Man. Peyton Reed was a comic book nerd, though. That's kind of unfair. He drew himself as Ant-Man when he was doing.
He was originally going to do Fantastic Four.
He was in it. He was into it. But I feel like there's lots of characters that that these characters are pitched to them, and they do a good job. Even in actors too, right? Chris Evans was pitched Steve Rogers, Captain America. Cheesy character, Captain America is his name, and yet he was able to get it pitched to him so that when he talks about the character, he's like, he's a man. He's everything I want to be. He's talking about this seriously.
So
pitched very well. I feel like David F. Sandberg, if he's getting into this character, he's finding the right stuff, and he was pitched the character correctly. The way he sums up, he is a kid who gets to become Superman. And it's going to be lighthearted and fun, and it's
that means they pitched it correctly as well. Like the people, whoever came up with it, they understood Shazam.
Yes.
And this guy was like, "Oh, I understand it too.
Yes.
I can do that."
Yep.
Done.
Very
exciting. That's what makes me super excited about it. And I think and this movie, he also did confirm this movie is being produced by New Line Cinema, which is also doing the Black Adam movie. But it will still exist in the DC Extended Universe.
Because why not?
Because why not?
Confirmed now.
Yes, that is now confirmed.
Good.
So Shazam and Superman will likely have some sort of interaction. It was actually funny. He posted on his Twitter. He posted this like fake page out of a Shazam script, and it's Shazam and Superman having banter, but it's very street sort of dialogue. It's really funny. You should check it out. But I think you're right. I don't think you do Shazam, this character that is sort of light and lighthearted and sort of fun and sort of embraces the
inner kid in all of us.
Exactly.
The wish fulfillment.
The wish fulfillment.
He's literally a little kid inside of a grown man's body.
Exactly.
Which is how we all kind of feel.
And I think that's what's so cool about a lot of these characters in the DC universe is that they are so different. And they have these sort of unique traits and sort of tones to them. So I think it's really cool that he's going to really embrace that.
Yeah.
Bring that to this movie. I like everything that he said. Yes, he's known mostly here as a horror director doing Lights Out and doing Annabelle Creation. But from his previous experience, I'm very hopeful that he'll be able to bring something really cool to the big screen.
Like I said, Scott Derrickson came from horror.
Exactly.
James Wan came from horror, and it looks like he's going to do an awesome job on Aquaman. Hopefully.
Flip it and reverse it.
Yeah.
Key and Peele, or what's his name?
Jordan Peele.
Comedy
Peele. To horror.
Comedy to horror.
Exactly.
He's talked about how those are
100%.
similar.
Right.
The comedy genre and the horror genre are, and Jordan Peele has talked about some of those similarities, and I feel like he's mentioned that like it's all about timing,
right?
And it's like if you come from a comedy background, you might be good at horror, and vice versa because of that. It's all about
timing.
That's a good point.
David Gordon Green and Danny McBride are doing Halloween.
Yeah, there you go. They're doing a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So hopefully the two translate over, and hopefully we get this really dope Shazam movie.
And I think that's awesome. I mean, I think to come out and do a Shazam movie after doing Aquaman. Like I like the fact that they're already starting with obscure characters now.
Yeah.
Because I think it allows them to then, while they're doing these obscure characters, in between they can throw in a Batman, a Wonder Woman, a Superman,
right?
But still build out those obscure characters. I love that.
The DreamWorks model for like their CG animated movies, and maybe the Pixar one. The Pixar might be like every other year, but it would be like sequel of an established thing,
and something
new thing.
Right.
Sequel of an established thing, new. That's Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
You got 2 movies coming out this year: Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Thor Ragnarok sequels. The newer one, Spider-Man Homecoming.
Right.
So next year we got Black Panther. That's new, but then Avengers. So
and then an Ant-Man movie.
That's the way you got to do it. And again, just like Disney and Marvel Studios are building up these C-list, B-list characters up to A-list, Shazam absolutely deserves to be A-list. Aquaman deserves to be A-list. Like I want a Plastic Man movie. I want Martian Manhunter. I want Hawkman.
Don't push it.
In the DC universe, these characters are A-list in that universe. So, it's gonna happen.
Baby.
I'll toast to that.
Toasting and
Of course you're
roasting.
gonna toast to that.
Now we're going to shift gears to Star Wars. Star Wars Episode 9. Not a whole lot happened with Star Wars at D23, sadly. We got that cool BTS reel for Star Wars The Last Jedi. Star Wars The Last Jedi is obviously coming out in December. The next movie coming out after that is a Han Solo movie. We don't know too much about it, but we're talking about Star Wars Episode 9. Star Wars is getting a rewrite. Now,
Episode 9.
Episode 9. Colin Trevorrow and Derek Connolly were originally the guys who sort of came up with the script and the story. It wasn't based on a treatment by Rian Johnson, like a lot of people are saying. Rian Johnson actually did come out on Twitter and confirm that he did not write the treatment. They were basing their story off of whatever Rian Johnson had done with 8. Obviously, we know that Lucasfilm and the Disney family, they all play really close together.
Yeah.
Colin Trevorrow has been, no, I don't want to say involved, but he's been present while Rian Johnson has sort of been shaping the story of what's been happening with Episode 8. And it's supposedly getting a rewrite from a British writer who wrote the upcoming Julia Roberts, Jacob Tremblay movie Wonder, which we did see the trailer for. And it looks really powerful. It looks really good.
Right. Yes.
I don't know if it's supposed to be something from
He
Childbirth.
goes to school like on the first day of school with
Yeah.
like a space helmet or something.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it looked
that one
really,
It
really
looked really good. It
powerful.
looked
Yeah,
really
yeah,
powerful.
yeah.
It looked really strong.
I didn't realize that was Jacob Tremblay from
Yeah, it's
Room.
Jacob Tremblay.
Yeah, of
Yep.
course, with makeup
Exactly,
and
exactly.
prosthetics.
So, based on that movie, I think, if the director really is able to pull off the writing, then we'll be able to see how well that sort of plays into it. But how do you guys sort of feel about this? They're saying, Lucasfilm was saying that, while Derek Connolly and Colin Trevorrow have been working on the script, they want a fresh pair of eyes on it, basically.
Yep.
Well,
does this
I
concern
think-
you at all?
Nah,
or
I think it's one of two ways, and you can either take it in one of two ways, just like
Right.
each one of these pieces of news.
Yeah.
This is either for real, it's like non-news, because I feel like movies that are in production go through these stages.
Or in
You bring on
pre-pro,
new
yeah.
writers.
Right,
This
yeah.
is in pre-production. This seems like very run-of-the-mill, very regular. Or you could take it as, if you're not a fan of Colin Trevorrow, if you didn't like Jurassic World, if you didn't like Safety Not Guaranteed, if you didn't like, didn't you do that weird movie with the Book of Jacob or something?
Yeah.
Didn't you do that?
Book of
I didn't
Eli?
see that.
No.
I
Book of
wish
Eli.
you did the Book of Eli. That movie was dope.
Book of Jacob.
I know.
I don't know what that one
what-
is.
Yeah, with,
like
like
the-
Naomi Watts.
The genius kid who wrote
Yeah.
to tell his mom Naomi Watts
Yeah,
how to
yeah.
take down the neighbor who was like abusive.
Oh,
And we were like,
is that
what?
the one that like
That weird
all of a
trailer
sudden there was a
Navarro.
sniper,
Yep.
like
Yes.
the mom
Yep.
sniper?
The
Oh,
mom, the
God.
mom sniper.
Oh, God.
So there's a lot of
Book
people
of Henry.
that are not fans. Thank you, Book of Henry, of Colin Trevorrow, and they've said this is a guy who this is a perfect example of somebody who like fails upwards,
Right.
who makes a very indie movie and then gets Jurassic World, and it's Jurassic
and it makes
World's
$1 billion.
not,
It's
not-
not that good.
not
but-
great, but gets Star Wars,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this kind
Yeah.
of thing. And I feel like I can't. I heard a thing from a guy. It's all secondhand, blah blah blah. But this guy
Take it
was
with a grain of
telling me,
salt.
take it with a grain of salt. This guy was telling me about Colin Trevorrow and how he's approaching Star Wars, and it made me feel really good about it because I feel like despite how Trevorrow's movies have come out, I wasn't a huge fan of Jurassic World, but I liked it. I thought it was fine, like whatever, satisfactory. I know that movie was very rushed, and the fact that Trevorrow's been working on Star Wars for 2 years now, 3 years now,
At least
working
at
on
least
the
a year and a
script.
half. Yeah.
At least a year and a half. I'm still feel a little bit like wait until a trailer,
Exactly.
that sort of thing
Exactly.
before I'm like, oh, Colin Trevorrow, he's gonna. I thought that Jurassic
Keep
World
it
was
up.
well directed. You know what I mean? I thought that the problems in the script are like, yeah, you guys needed another 6 months. You guys needed a Jack Thorne to come in
Right,
and
polish it
do a polish on the
Right, right.
dialogue. And take out things where like, wait, he catches a fly. Chris Pratt just catches a fly. No, we'll take that out. That's stupid.
Miyagi's it. Get out of
He's
here.
too powerful.
Nah,
That's
we don't
dumb.
need that. We don't
So
need that.
it's one of the two. It's either like Lucasfilm going, oh, Colin Trevorrow or Trevorrow like doesn't know what he's doing, or this is just how movies are made.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well,
Odyssey?
I mean, we all know how movies are made. We've all worked in movies.
Sure.
How many times have you worked on a shot and the first time they were like, perfect, that's it, put it in the movie?
I think it's cut out of the movie.
Never,
None.
ever happened.
None time.
None times has it happened.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they're going back to rewrites.
In fact, even if you did do a perfect job,
They would
just
still.
because of the fact that never happens, they
Yeah.
would go, you know what, bring that thing forward, fix that,
Yeah.
move that. do
could
that
be
to the
better.
side.
Could be better.
And
now.
Call
you
it
and
pixel
you would
fucking.
and you would go and like go back to your desk and go like, okay, and then
Yeah.
do it, and you'd go up, and then maybe it would
yeah,
get
and then
sent
they'd be
through.
like, okay,
But,
yeah,
like,
that's cool.
But the process of Hollywood like almost requires that there to be
Yes.
another.
That's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm okay with this, because it shows the fact that somebody's looking at the script and saying, this might not be working. Let's take another stab at it. And even if it comes out only slightly different than they originally had it before, it's probably slightly better than they originally had it. And so at this point, handle all the problems in pre-production. That's what the pre-production is for. You take out you smooth everything out basically so that when you're in production, there's no surprises, there's no hiccups. You know what to do. Everything gets done, and you come out with a great product.
Like butter, baby.
Like
Smooth it
butter.
out.
Like butter. I mean, like I said, we all know how that works, and
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's rewrites.
I'm honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm not that worried. I think at the end of the day, what really matters is the final product.
Exactly.
When you go into the theater, you sit down, you got your popcorn, your
Same
soda.
for Han Solo. I'm
Yeah.
rooting for Han Solo.
Yeah. No matter,
Oh,
despite
Am I excited?
Let's go see
despite all
that
the
final
craziness
product.
that's been happening, I mean, Ron Howard could really use everything that Lord Miller did, the best, and really use it and make it a 10. Who knows? But I'm not too worried about it. I mean, I totally understand people's concerns because of Booker Henry, because of Jurassic World, but I do feel like we still have time. And there's plenty of time for them to make this movie. This movie doesn't come out until 2019.
Yeah.
So there's time for them to polish it up, to make it good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
even when they're shooting, we know that this famously happens. On the day of, they may read a line, and an actor might not
And it
feel
doesn't
it.
work.
They scratch it
Yeah.
out. They write something new in. It's
Adam, now you're just
movies
explaining
are-
how movies are made
Exactly.
to people.
It's a
like
collaborative
like-
effort, y'all.
A
We
lot
all
of
know
people
this.
don't really know, though. you
Yeah.
know?
Exactly. And it goes for any movie. I mean, anytime you hear a movie's getting a rewrite, whether it's a Marvel movie, a DC movie, a Sony movie, a
It could be
Paramount,
bad. It could be good.
it could be
Yeah,
bad. It could
yeah.
be good. You never know. They're doing a bunch of reshoots on Justice League right now. Some people
Could
are
be
scared
bad,
about
could
it.
be good.
Some people are not that scared about it. Either way, in November, we'll find out.
Yeah.
You're not
Was it
going
a
to be
good
able to
thing or
tell
a
the
bad thing?
difference in the final product anyway.
Exactly,
so it
because you're
doesn't
never going to know
matter.
what the original product was.
Yeah.
So I think for Star Wars Episode 9, whatever they do, I think they're going to try to do whatever they can for whatever the best case scenario is for that movie.
Agreed.
Maybe some of it also has to do with Princess Leia. How do they sort of write her
Yeah.
out
Good
and
point,
or end
good
her
point.
story? So I think there's a lot of things that they have to kind of take into consideration where they want the story to go
Yeah.
after 9, 10, 11, 12. That was kind of the
Whoa.
original blueprint for Star Wars.
10,
was
11, 12?
Was 12 episodes.
No, I thought it was 9.
It was 12
I thought
episodes.
Lucas had 9 planned.
Pretty sure it was 12.
They're doing 10, 11, 12.
Yeah. So
This
I-
just kind of blew
this
my
is-
mind, but then I thought about it for 2 seconds. I was like, no, Star
This
Wars
is
is
Yeah.
never going to
Disney's
stop.
definitely
Yeah,
doing
oh,
10,
we're
11,
We're going to
12.
get into
There's
like
no
the
way they're not
30s
gonna
and
do 10,
40s.
11, 12.
Yeah.
But I think that's also another big consideration.
Do you skip a generation? Now I'm talking about 10, 11, 12.
No,
do
no.
you wait 15, 20,
I don't know,
30
man.
years?
Well, that's the
We'll
thing,
see
right?
with this next movie.
That's the thing is like, what do you do? Do you? It all
Wow.
depends what happens on 8, and that's
Yeah.
really gonna affect
All right,
what
we
happens on
can't.
9.
I don't want to get into episodes
I
10,
know.
11, 12.
Because
Like,
we're going to be here
getting
for
ahead
hours.
of
Yeah,
ourselves.
exactly.
All
At the end of the day, we'll know more once the movie actually starts shooting.
I'll
It
toast
hasn't
to
even
that.
started shooting yet. Ding.
We should end every news segment with
I'll toast to that. I'll buy that for $1.
I'll buy that for $1. I will. I'll toast to that.
The-
You guys are smart. I like listening to you talk. You guys are good.
He hasn't even had a sip yet. And he's
I
already
know.
talking
I've
nonsense.
drank the whole
actually,
thing.
yeah, he's
Woo!
down that whole bottle,
Yeah.
basically.
Good thing you sleep in my room tonight.
I
Anyway,
didn't
last
have-
topic
I
of
didn't
tonight.
have dinner. I don't have
We
food
haven't
in my
either. We're
stomach.
gonna go
Yeah,
eat
we're
after
gonna go
this.
get
at
some
fucking-
some guac talks.
It's
after.
12:15 in
1
the
a.m.
morning right now. We're gonna
Yeah.
go eat dinner after this.
Yeah.
Last thing we're talking about: Teen Titans finally cast its
So
first
unhealthy.
member.
That's
it is very
great.
unhealthy. Australian newcomer Tegan Croft has landed one of the leads as Raven. Is obviously one of the series regulars. The show is coming from Greg Berlanti, Akiva Goldsman, Jeff Johns, Sarah Schechter, and Warner Brothers Television. Obviously, Greg Berlanti, Jeff Johns, and Sarah Schechter are responsible for all the shows on the CW.
I'm looking up Tegan Croft right
Yeah,
now. Keep going.
Apparently
very,
fairly unknown, right?
very new, unknown actress. She's only 13, so yes, that is her.
I
um,
can see that.
Very interesting. Obviously, the description of the character is obviously Croft's Raven, described as the daughter of a demon, is a powerful empath who must keep her emotions in check or risk unleashing her demonic side. She's got a movie, an Australian film coming up, very new, obviously, but there's been a lot of controversy about the age. But Teen Titans,
Interesting.
Right.
being
She's a brand new teenager.
right,
Let's get into that a little bit because I feel like there's different.
and also really
yeah.
quick, the show originally when it was going to be on TNT, so this show is now going to be on DC's new digital service provider.
Right. That's
Okay.
right.
And when it was originally going to be on TNT, it was just strictly going to be called Titans, no teen.
Mhm.
So
And
now
it's
with the
teen?
13-year-old, are they
Oh.
going to be
Oh.
all younger or just select members?
I
don't
think
know.
that Titans as a brand, it doesn't necessarily need teen. Maybe
Right.
this is controversial, but I feel the same way about like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm like, I don't think you need Mighty Morphin. I think
Right,
Power
right.
Rangers is the brand.
Right.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't think you need Teenage Mutant. I know people are very attached to those
Right.
adjectives, but I'm like Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers,
Yeah.
Titans. Titans to me is the sort of the teen younger hero team of the DC universe.
Right.
I don't think you necessarily need teen. And also to have an official superhero team,
Mhm.
Called Justice League makes sense. That sounds official. Called Teen Titans sounds a little
kind of 90s,
weird.
kind of
A little bit like teen would be the adjective in like a comic book. Like Iron Man is not called
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Thank you. Iron Man is not called the Invincible Iron Man. He's Iron Man, but his comic book is called the. You know what I'm saying? Amazing Spider-Man doesn't go. He's not like, "Hi, I'm the Amazing Spider-Man." He says, "I'm Spider-Man."
Yeah.
And this thing is really getting to me. I gotta say,
I
really
told
getting to me.
you.
But
I told you.
we don't. So I'm not super like beholden to the teen aspect. I think if they call it Titans, but still have like a young crew, it's you know, it's Teen Titans. It worked for the cartoon show because it's a cartoon show. Teen Titans, awesome. Like that's great. But you know, I'm not super attached to that. But let's get into this for a second. Here's what I was thinking of when you brought that up. The fact that she's 13, a little controversial. There's different versions of each of these iconic comic book characters, and Raven is pretty iconic. And there's versions where she starts out sort of young. I feel like going off of the cartoon Teen Titans, that classic show, or Teen Titans Go, definitely they kind of cast all the characters as a little bit younger, especially Starfire. I love the version of Starfire from that show. The other version of Starfire is kind of a very sexual, going through maturity, going through adolescence, going through puberty, going through
a lot of booty.
You know,
I remember there's
a lot of
booty coming from.
A lot of, you know, that they've kind of even come under fire. Like DC Comics had that letter that was written either by a kid or by the kid's parents, but like written and sent in from a little girl that was like, "Hey, I watched Starfire on the Teen Titans cartoon show," and she's like this really bubbly, fun, young, innocent alien who doesn't know anything about Earth culture, and she's constantly making mistakes.
But she's trying, and she really likes it.
She's trying, and she's very like I was gonna say flat chested, I guess, is compared to the comic book version. She's exactly like a teen.
Young teenager.
When you draw her, it's just, you know, lines, but she's got the cool little platform boots and the mini skirt and the costume and all that stuff. You compare it to Starfire from the comic books, even from the original Teen Titans, the new Teen Titans comic book series by Marv Wolfman, George Perez in the 80s. Starfire, when she first showed up, was like, bam. She was like,
she's a bombshell.
And she and like the way that she learned Earth's languages was by kissing Dick Grayson, who himself was going through a little bit of a maturing. Like he was still Robin, and in that series is when he became Nightwing. The whole point of that series is these characters kind of mature and grow up and stuff. The way she learned English was by kissing him, and then she's like, "Now I know Earth's languages," or "Now I know your language." And so she was very sort of like, I don't want to say like hypersexualized, but she was very much like, oh, this is a woman who, if she feels like, you know, she just treated her alien race treated sexuality differently, but she was very much like she had agency, she had you know, her own thing. But comic book readers back in the day, still now, you know, back then, were generally young males, so it was kind of like geared towards them.
It was
sort of
pandering towards the young males. Yeah.
Thank you. So so what I'm getting at is there's different versions of these characters. There's versions of Spider-Man when he's 28 years old, and there's versions of Spider-Man when he's 16. What is the like quintessential Spider-Man? It's probably when he's 16.
Probably.
You know what I mean? When he's
the most
16 years
relatable,
old.
I guess.
When he's Peter Parker, exactly. So in terms of some of these characters, I happen to like Starfire when she's younger, but I also like Cyborg on the Teen Titans as being a bit of a mentor figure, which the Jeff Johns comics that I've read, him and Beast Boy are like the older Titans that have been around the block, and the new Titans are like Wonder Girl, Superboy, you know, that kind of a thing. But Raven, she's also been portrayed as older, but this sort of 13-year-old version very much, I think, is in line with the cartoon show. They were all kind of younger, but that's very much in line with this sort of like girl who barely escaped her father Trigon the demon, barely escaped this kind of cult lifestyle thing, and she's trying to keep the demon at bay, and she has all these, you know. So I forgot even what my question was. This thing is really, really getting to me. I'm pretty much buzzed and drunk. But the point is like, how do you guys, like, do you guys have a preference for this character specifically, Raven, or even the Teen Titans? Like, do you want to see like 19, 20, 25-year-old Titans, or do you want to see them all be teenagers? Like, how do you guys feel about the Titans?
Well, I think for me the biggest thing, because of this show, they didn't really specify whether or not this was going to sort of take place within the DC Extended Universe. If this is its own thing, it doesn't connect to the CW Arrowverse. If it doesn't connect to the DCEU and it is its own thing, I think that because of things like Spider-Man Homecoming, and because of, honestly, even the DC shows being sort of lighthearted and fun.
Good point.
And Spider-Man sort of being, we've now kind of accepted that you can have a 15, 16-year-old superhero in these comic book movie universes. I think that they could get away with doing this. I was just under the impression, I guess because it was more of a DC thing, I thought because it's Titans and it's Dick Grayson and it has a Batman character sort of being one of the cornerstones,
Sure.
that it was maybe going to go in a more of a darker direction. But with casting this younger actress as 13, I'm starting to kind of be more on the side of, okay, cool. They are kind of trying to embrace maybe what that Teen Titans show was, while still being serious when it needs to be serious. It's on their own digital streaming service, so they really don't have any restrictions to what they have to do.
Now they could. Now here's the thing: they could have characters at different ages.
Sure, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? They could have Nightwing be 29,
Right.
and he's Nightwing, and he was like, "I was just Robin, and now I'm Nightwing." They could have Starfire be the same age as him.
Right.
I just watched an animated film, Teen Titans: The Judas Contract, and they kind of have different ages for their characters.
they all
Jaime Reyes,
range.
Blue Beetle, younger.
Yeah.
Raven, I think kind of younger. Maybe I'm forgetting just because I'm drunk. Starfire and Nightwing, older. Beast Boy, younger. Beast Boy kind of needs to be young. You know what I'm saying?
The young new Teen Titans that they have on Cartoon Network. Beast Boy. He's really fun.
Yeah.
But no, what I was gonna say is I like the fact that she's younger, only because think about what it harkens back to me is think of Avatar. I know you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Good.
But we saw a beautiful arc of Aang going from this young, naive kid to this amazing. He's like the Avatar. He's the bringer of balance to the world. And I think you can do something similar with Raven because she has the powers of the other world. She's potentially one of the most powerful members of the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And being very young, they have a lot to work with a young kid who doesn't know what's going on, is very confused, can easily lose control, and can easily go in any direction. So they have a lot of flexibility where they can go with a 13-year-old rather with like an 18-year-old who's already like, oh, fuck my dad, I'm not going to do what he says, whatever. Like an 18-year-old is more, I guess, hard-headed than a 13-year-old is going to be. So I like the fact that she's a lot younger, and yeah, it's controversial because she is younger, but I also like your idea of having the Titans be different ages. I think Cyborg could come in as the older one and be like, "Hey, I'll be a little bit of a mentor," but I don't know if we're gonna have Cyborg.
I want Victor Stone on this show so badly. I want Cyborg to be on the Titans, and if he's older and Beast Boy's younger, I would be so happy.
That would be so dope.
And it's like if they wanted to have the sort of more like mature version of Starfire, fine. But if you're going to have a 13-year-old version of Raven, I think like you're saying, Augustine, like there's so much potential with her backstory where like her father is essentially the devil. Her father is essentially the sort of Mephisto type character from Marvel Comics or Satan. Her mother was raped maybe or then consensually like had an affair with a demon. It's very Rosemary's Baby. That's how Raven was born.
Don't know what's going on with that. Yeah.
It's very Rosemary's Baby. So the fact that she's 13, it's different than if she were 18 or 25 where she would be like, I've already dealt with my father. I know who, you know what I mean? And now it's like, well, her powers could be, it's just like if you have older characters that are like mentor type characters, it becomes, I think, much more like understandable that they would all sort of try to help this 13-year-old girl going through this shit, as opposed to if she were the mentor, then then it's easier for her to be like distant and removed, and you're like, I don't know about that character.
Could be part of the ploy. And maybe this character could end up being the youngest character, and everyone is there to sort of like support and mentor her.
That would be interesting.
That'd be interesting.
Hector is feeling really good with that.
I'm really.
I need a taco.
I think the big telltale of this whole thing is going to be who ends up being Dick Grayson.
Right.
Because basically from the actor and his age, we'll be able to get a sort of a better idea of like, okay, there's going to be some range.
Yeah.
Not all 13. We've got a 13 and a 16 and an 18 and a 20-something.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see all that.
I know we're trying to wrap this up, but question for you guys. Do you want Titans to be set in the DC Extended Universe, like the movie world? Do you want it to be set in the DC TV universe, the Arrowverse, Flash, Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow? Or do you want it to be its own thing? And why?
I personally, I would think it's cool if this was the one show that was connected to the film universe. I think it would be really cool to have Ray Fisher be the cyborg in the show.
That would be awesome.
I think if Ray Fisher ends up
cameo,
right? I think if Ray Fisher kind of ends up being one of the standouts, and I think like I think of the three standouts, you got Ray Fisher, Jason Momoa's Aquaman, and the Flash, Ezra Miller. We know Aquaman's getting a movie. Flash is getting the Flashpoint movie. We didn't see anything about the Cyborg movie on the slate at Comic-Con,
but he was just really excited about Cyborg,
and that's what I love. I love Ray Fisher's infectious enthusiasm for the character. I love his enthusiasm for being in this universe, and I think having that and maybe Cyborg kind of being a standout in the Justice League movie, and maybe showing up in future movies, I think it would be really cool to have him be the connective tissue from the TV to the movie universe.
Oh, man.
And if you
Huge.
and if you don't watch the movies, which frankly most people who are going to watch the show will have watched the movies, but even if you don't, you just stumble on the show, you still won't feel lost because he's not as integral to the movies as like a Batman.
Right.
And maybe at some point eventually we could get maybe acknowledgement to Batman.
The way
because
they did
Robin will be in the show.
The way they did it on the Teen Titans cartoon show was so well done because it was Robin's show. It was all about Dick Grayson. But there would be times where he would say something like, "I have a father," and then the camera would pan up, and then there would just be bats.
Right.
It would like like be in a cave or whatever, and it's like that kind of thing is awesome, and that's something that could happen in this show.
Yeah.
If it were set in the DCEU, to have a Ben Affleck cameo would be fucking crazy, and it would be awesome. But it's also cool to go, this is Dick Grayson's show.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's also cool to have this project be the one that shows you how he's different than Robin the Boy Wonder and kind of evolves from that. Because that's what the Teen Titans comic was all about. It was all about him growing out of his mentor's shadow, his father figure shadow, his his sort of his
and
guardian.
I think that's sort of the other thing too is if in Batman vs Superman we kind of established that Jason Todd presumably is the
was
Robin
the dead
who's
Robin.
dead.
Yeah.
Would Richard Grayson still be Robin at this point? Wouldn't he be Nightwing by now?
He
So
would
I
be
think
Nightwing.
I think that's the only thing that may cause some possible not controversy, but may cause some confusion of not having that cyborg.
Do you care about what universe it's in, or do you want it to be its own thing? Do you have an opinion on this?
I like your opinion of having it be its own standalone, but I gotta go. I think we talked about this a long time ago. I think DC shot themselves in the foot with separating the universes because even though it could be a shared universe, you don't have to share it all the time. Right. You could still have that moment where Dick Grayson says, "I have a father," and have the bats go up.
Yeah.
Even if they're connected, you don't have to have Batman there.
I mean, that example, sorry, I'm very drunk. That example is the Marvel TV shows because they're connected.
Right.
Marvel Netflix, like Defender shows and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agent Carter, but they don't have a Robert Downey Jr.
Exactly.
Yeah, like all they do is reference events.
Right.
So that could have been Warner Brothers' approach to DC TV / DC movies. But if you think they kind of shot themselves in the foot.
Honestly, I don't think they did themselves a very good service by disconnecting the universes. But at the same time, they have done a pretty good job with the Flash and Supergirl.
I know.
So I'll give them that. Obviously, that was pretty good.
Their Superman is very different, but very much fits in Supergirl's world.
Right.
Yeah,
but imagine if Henry Cavill would have come and been Superman in those episodes. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah.
You had an opportunity and you didn't really take it. Fine. Your shows are still great.
Grant Gustin as Barry Allen the Flash.
Yeah.
Won me over
Absolutely.
after over 3 seasons, and I'm like, there's still a part of me that's like, man, it would have been so cool if he was the one in the Justice League movies.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
if
because
he was the one
I love him so much, or if Stephen Amell cameoed as Green Arrow in the Justice League movie, like, it would have been dope. It would have been dope. But you know, I think that there's pluses and minuses to both approaches. Obviously,
I agree.
But you make a lot of good points. It's like it can be limiting, it can be confusing, and especially if this thing ends up being a completely different thing.
Right.
Uta mano, are you kidding me? Like people are gonna be like, it's a whole nother continuity.
If you have the Arrowverse, the DCEU, and this
like the Titansverse,
right, like this DC like digital verse.
That's why I'm gonna go with. I hope that they incorporate it into the Arrowverse. I think that
at least
Augustine is at least. I think that Augustine's right, and ultimately, it would have been really, really cool if a company got behind all of its sort of properties and was like, movies and TV are connected, and we love Grant Gustin's Flash, and he's gonna be the Flash in the Justice League movie, but at the very least, I understand too, and I think everybody does, television and movies work separately.
Yeah.
Their production schedules are separate. The way that they make their projects are separate. So
there are some actors who even refuse to act on TV. Like, you don't know what's in their contract.
Right.
Absolutely. That's a good point. But I think that at the very least, I think that the CW Arrowverse has become so successful that I would love to see those characters interact with any iteration of the Titans. And ultimately, I think someday I would love to see a Teen Titans movie with Victor Stone Cyborg, with Beast Boy, with Raven, with Starfire, with other characters. But if they're pushing forward with this TV show, if they're putting it on their like digital streaming thing, at the very least, make it so that you leave the door open for a Stephen Amell Green Arrow cameo, a Grant Gustin Barry Allen cameo.
I want to see Ramon in all these episodes.
Oh my God, Cisco!
I want him all over the place.
Look at this is how good the Marvel Cinematic Universe became so good that you couldn't ignore it. That Sony was like, all right, we're gonna let Spider-Man play in there. Like, that's how good that became. The DC TV universe, the Arrowverse, has become so good you can't ignore it.
Right.
That like, if you told me Cisco Ramon was moving from the Flash to this new Titans TV show as like their tech guy, I'd be
Yeah.
like, dude, sign me up. I'm gonna watch. You know what I'm
Watching the
saying?
hell out of
Because
that.
of how good that supporting character
Right, exactly.
turned out to be. So
Yep.
it's because that show, The Flash, did such a good job with those characters that's such a good universe that like I just want those characters to play with maybe some of these characters. So I would say at the very least, put them in the DC TV universe so that they have similar schedules and go forward.
right.
And you just made me really excited. Now I want Cisco Ramon. I want him on
My
like
job
sold.
is done.
I know
If I
you
can
watch-
convince Hector every
Yeah.
episode of something, I'd be the happiest man in the world.
I know you love Melissa Benoist's Supergirl. It's
Absolutely.
like I want to see her
Absolutely.
interact
that'd be
with.
awesome.
You know what I mean?
Why
like,
can't she come in and mentor for an episode? She was a great mentor to that one little girl in that
That
episode.
would
It's
be
just,
awesome.
it's great. There's no reason to shoot yourself in the foot by causing another schism with another universe.
Yeah.
So
You know what I'm gonna say? I'll toast to that. That's a
That
good ass
means-
idea.
That one. That's where we end that one.
Oh, man. Guys, before we go, we have some winners to announce. Last week, we asked you guys to hit us up on Twitter with the hashtag HyperHeroes and tweet us at hyper_RPG with your favorite superhero GIF. We have 2 winners, Claire58 and Anna M. Berg 1. You will
Wow.
both be getting some Superman
fans.
hats. Big fans. We love
I'm
you
big
both.
fans of yours.
Big
too.
fans
Yeah.
of both of you guys.
Yeah.
Congratulations. We'll be
Anna,
getting in touch with you.
Claire, thank you guys so much. You better take some pictures with those hats and tweet them to
Yes.
us.
Oh,
y'all.
yeah.
Using that hashtag HyperHeroes. Guys, if you guys want to ask us questions every single week on this show, you can do so using the hashtag HyperHeroes. Also, tweet us at hyper_RPG. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that social means goodness. Our social means are all down in the description below.
Have you had enough to drink?
I
Did you
know, I have
too
not.
much
No,
to
he
drink?
hasn't.
I'm
He needs more
starving.
beers.
Y'all, it's 12:30. We're going to wrap this motherfucker up and go get some food.
Yeah.
Late night.
Thank you guys, as always, for another fun episode.
Oh, thank you, Adam and Augustine. I love
Thanks for
listening to you
having
guys
us,
talk.
guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I think I'm drunk now.
It's
Guys,
infectious.
Yeah.
if you like this show, if you like this episode, click that like button. Leave us a comment below. What was your favorite topic that we talked about? Any other tidbits or news about anything that we talked about? Your thoughts on Cable, thoughts on Domino. This Raven casting, is it controversial? Is it not? Is it not a big deal? What Arrow, or what, not Arrowverse, but what universe would you like to exist in? Subscribe right here, Hyper RPG, brand new stuff every single week. Also on Twitch, twitch.tv/HyperRPG. We'll catch you guys in the next one.